So it's wonderful to see so many here. I know people are still coming in, but we want to make sure that we have enough time to hear from all our wonderful speakers today. It's so exciting to be here to celebrate 10 years of the Real Centre together with so many of our partners. And I know many of you have also travelled a long way to be here, and we really appreciate that. As you know, the topic of today's conference is on tackling injustice in and through education, which I think is a very important topic in today's world. As I said at the beginning, we are really honoured that you're all here to celebrate 10 years of the Real Centre and to reflect with us on what next. And just as I was sort of thinking about today, I was thinking actually today isn't only about today, it's about the journey we've been on over the past 10 years, but also in preparation for this conference. We've had an amazing working group getting us to today. Amna, Dawit, Eunice, Larib, Susan and Yunan, all led and held together by Anne and Sandra, who I'm sure you've been in touch with. And you'll see the fruits of that outside on the stands there. This brings together the memories of the past 10 years. Over 50 friends and colleagues have shared those memories. They're up on the wall, and our wonderful illustrator Paula has done an amazing illustration that brings those memories to life. So you'll see that outside. Please do take a look. If you haven't had a chance to share a memory and you'd like to, there is a place to do that, and post-its and so on for you to add something, and then we can incorporate it as well. We also have a collage of photos. I'm sure some of you will see yourself in some of them, and this has also been a lot of fun putting this together as we were looking through the photos and remembering those happy memories of the things we've done together. And I think this highlights for me in looking at it, and look at these things about how the Real Centre is more than some of its parts, how it is everybody who is here, and how we come together in friendship, collaboration and mutual learning. We also have tables with our publications, because obviously it is about this friendship, but ultimately that leads to rigorous research. It leads to research that is used by policymakers and practitioners. We haven't wanted to print it all out, so there are QR codes again. If you want to access anything, let us know. It's not all our publications by any means, so please do look at the website for further information. So the timing of this conference is particularly poignant in these increasingly fractured times, where the importance of equity, diversity and inclusion is being questioned globally, and in a world where this is even more vital given the divisive impact of conflict, wars and climate. We really do need to be asking, where does education fit within all of this, and what is our responsibility? This is why we have set this conference up as being more of a reflective space. We're not wanting to do lots of presentations, and in fact we're being quite revolutionary. There are no PowerPoints today. It is about interaction amongst panelists and amongst those here in the room, as well as those of you online. And so it's wonderful to see such a mix of academics, researchers, together with policymakers, practitioners and those involved in funding our work. And such collaboration is key to ensuring the evidence that we collectively produce does really have an influence on policy and practice, including for those who are most left out in education, which is at the heart of the Real Centre. So I know that for many in the room and online, these are difficult times, personally, professionally, and in a variety of ways. And we're hoping that this will be an inclusive space where we can challenge each other with respect. And so we look forward to those discussions. We're now going to begin by hearing from our three keynote speakers, and then have some time for Q&A at the end of that. So we'll hear from them all together. I'm going to introduce them all together, and then we'll hear from them one by one. And I'm not going to read out their full bios. As I said, they're on the website. You can access them through the QR codes, but I'll say a small amount, particularly in terms of how I think we fit together with the Real Centre. So Julia Gillard definitely needs no introduction, but has been a champion for the rights of girls and women's leadership throughout her career, including as Prime Minister of Australia, Chair of the Global Partnership for Education, patron of the Campaign for Female Education, CAMFED, and as the founder and inaugural chair of the Global Institute for Women's Leadership at King's College London, to name but a few. This commitment has also been apparent in the journey we have had together in Julia was there at the launch of the Real Centre 10 years ago, and that was a really important moment for us. We were remembering yesterday, and I had forgotten this, that we had actually been to an event in the morning together with colleagues from CamFed, Lucy Lake and others, to meet Michelle Obama, who was establishing her Let Girls Learn initiative, and we had to whisk back up here in time for the launch. So we packed a lot in really promoting the issues that we're passionate about. And thank you, Julia, for being with us on that journey. The second speaker will be Professor Tasso Waldahana, who has similarly been with us throughout most of the journey of the Real Centre and has been really key advocate for promoting the importance of education leading to policy change, particularly in the context of Ethiopia. In his recent role as president of Addis Ababa University, we've collaborated for many years on the Research for Improving Systems for Education RISE programme in Ethiopia, primarily funded by FCDO, along with the World Bank's Early Learning programme. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this from Tasso shortly and the impact that this has had. And finally, Professor Bhaskar Vera is Pro-Vice Chancellor for Education and Environmental Sustainability. We have been really pleased that we've received support in a variety of ways from Central University throughout our journey to date, and I think the fact that Bhaskar is here to celebrate with us is a signal of that. And also particular engagement of Bhaskar on the work that we've been doing on issues related to climate and education. Bhaskar is going to be a little bit late, but he will be joining us in time for both his talk and then the Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Julia to come and speak, and Tasso, if you'd like to come and join me on the panel here, and then we'll make a start. Thank you very much.